Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Litha Ntalo. Um, I'm from Tsofimba, a small town up in the former Transkei. I'm an engineering surveyor by profession. Um, Basically, what surveyors do is, for instance, if there's going to be a new construction site that's going to start, we're the first people that go out there in terms of developing boundaries and stuff like that. And also um, determining the services that are around that certain area. So how I got to be involved in the program was through a colleague, Kayleen Jordan, sitting there at the back. So every time when we're coming back from site, she'd on Fridays, she'd come back smelling fresh, I'd be like, Kayleen, where were you the whole day? And she's like, no, I'm doing this Rotary leadership program. And I'm like, what do you guys do there? And then she explained everything around the course, what it was basically about. And I became more curious. But then it wasn't really about doing the leadership course. It was actually about, okay, I get to get the Friday off. And then I don't go to site and come back smelly and sweaty from site. So I thought, okay, maybe. And then, but without even thinking that I'd even be considered for the course, Kelim came up to me and said, Lita, don't you want to do the Gately leadership course? And I said, but no, man. And I said, man, I'm not too sure about that. And actually, and then I went back, I went home and I thought to myself, with the type of work that we do, you don't realize that we actually leaders because in my case, for instance, I work with Colin. He'll send me an email going out to sending me out to McClear, for instance, 5 hours drive. I have to pick up stuff, get everything in order, get my guys get my guys going with me. So I have to make sure that the team that I go with is in order. They have to be there on time. We have to make sure that we don't leave something here because if we leave something here, let's say for instance, there's a small cable, it's an aerial. If you leave that behind, you cannot work the whole day. So the whole day gone to waste. So actually when you do that, you don't realize that you're actually a leader in your own little space. And then I actually realized that while doing the course, and I was like, man, I've never really thought of myself as someone who's a leader, but I've just been someone who basically does what needs to be done and does it properly and just make sure that I don't get into trouble because that's uh, uh, it's not nice to be in trouble basically. So today I'm going to share my journey around the program and how it has helped me. I feel like the program came to started the I got involved with the program at a time whereby I was going through a lot. I was also in a dark space. In April, 3 days after my birthday, I had a quarrel with my then girlfriend. So now, and it was, I've had a lot of breakups before. Not that I want to share my personal stuff with you, but this one was very different. It was just one of those that I couldn't get over. And I didn't have anything to look forward to. So then the program came through. Even though we started the program, we were doing it virtually, but it gave me something to look forward to in terms of saying, okay, I'm going to the we're going to do the program for those 3 hours or 5 hours or 4 hours in a day. That made a difference because it changed my thinking in terms of what was going on in my life at that time. And you add on top of that COVID-19, the lockdown, you can't go out and say, and drink my sorrows away, for instance. But the program was there. It was that friend who keeps tapping you on your back and telling you everything's going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine. When we started the program, we started. As I said, as I mentioned, that it was on. We did it virtually. It was great for the first, when we first met via Zoom. It was great seeing people and also hearing from different people with different perspectives. Some people will challenge your views. Some people will ask you, "Why are you thinking in this way?" You see, and I think that's the biggest takeaway from this course, in the sense that you get different perspective from different people, and you get different ideas from different people, and that really is something that helps you grow as a person. The way I see it. And I would say the program was my life savior because the lockdown was starting to get to me emotionally. And as I said, it gave me something to look forward to. With each session we had, I left with something new. And sometimes it was something to learn, and sometimes something that challenged my view on certain things. And um, that was something positive. Every time I came for the context sessions, it seems as if it was something that was being taken out and some fresh air was being blown into my mind. And it was amazing. I shared that with Kayleen the other time, and I was like, every time I come back from that, from sometimes I come here feeling I don't feel like it because we're made to think critically in terms, and I'm like, I'm not looking for that type of thing. I'm looking for something, you see. But then, but then every time I left the room, I sort of left a different person, and that's the change that I feel was taking place because I was getting something from the course. I cannot talk about the Rotary Leadership Program and not mention emotional intelligence. As I said, I was in a dark space. I needed to take control of my emotions. And I needed to be able to take control of some situations that I was going through. Generally, I'm not a person who I'm not a very talkative person. But when I do talk, I make sure that I talk. And also, I'm generally someone, I don't get ticked off easily, but then when I do get ticked off, I get ticked off. So with around emotional intelligence, I was able to look at some situations and and step back a bit and ask myself, do I really need to engage in this, or should I just let it be? And in some instances, it's helped me, and in some instances, I've failed in being able to control my emotions. But it's given me something to work around, something to say, okay, look, this situation doesn't need you to react in this certain way. And being able to say, this is who you are, accept it, live with it, and make the best of what you can with what you have. And that for me around emotional intelligence was a big takeaway for me in being able to be in control of my emotions. And and then also with the program, I'd also like to take the time and thank everyone that has been involved in making the program a success. All the people that made sure that we had guest speakers at each and every session. As much as though it doesn't, it looks as if it's part of the program, but you actually don't realize how much of an effect that you have on us. It's actually when you look back and think to yourself, but wow, when that person was speaking, I didn't realize when they said it. But now, seeing now that you're sitting back and reflecting, and you're thinking to yourself, going forward, this is what I want to do. And I'd also like to thank Greg for bearing us at times where we didn't feel like we didn't want to comment on certain issues. You made it a point that we'd get talking, and by the end of the session, we'd have everyone talking when we left the room. And I'd also like to make a special thank you to my work mentor, Colin Davis. 2020 has been a year from hell, if I can describe it that way. Thank you for making sure that I continue being part of this program. Things were very tough for NPM this year, and thank you for sticking to your word. To my fellow young leaders, this is just the beginning. It doesn't end here. Let's continue. Let's continue to grow. Let's continue to educate ourselves. And let's continue to be better people. Let's continue to be better leaders for tomorrow. I wish everyone the best of luck with the journey ahead. Thank you for your time.